Glories to Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Madhya Lila, Chapter 11, Text 101. Raje Kahe Shastra Pramane Chaitanya Krishna Tadekena Pandite Saba Tanhate Vitrishna. Translation. The king said, according to evidence given in revealed scriptures, it is concluded that Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord Krishna himself. Why then are learned scholars sometimes indifferent to him? Text 102. Bhata kahe tandra kripa lishahaya yandre sehi se tanhare Krishna kari lai te pare. Translation. Bhattacharya replied, only a person who has received but a small fraction of mercy from the Lord can understand that Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna. No one else can. Purport. The Sankirtana movement can be spread by a person who is especially favored by Lord Krishna. Krishna Shakti Vina Nahe Tara Pravartana. Without first obtaining the mercy of the Lord, one cannot spread the holy name of the Lord. One who can spread the Lord's name is called Labha Chaitanya, in the words of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. The Labha Chaitanya is one who has actually awakened his original consciousness, Krishna consciousness. The influence of the pure devotees in Krishna consciousness is such that it can awaken others and become immediately Krishna conscious and engage themselves in the transcendental loving service of Krishna. In this way, the descendants of pure devotees increase, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes much pleasure in seeing the increase of his devotees. The word Somedhasha means sharply intelligent. When one's intelligence is sharp, he can increase the interest of common men in loving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and through him in loving Radha Krishna. Those not interested in understanding Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are simply material in their attempts at professional chanting and dancing for money, despite their supposed artistry. If one does not have full faith in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he cannot properly chant and dance the Sankirtana movement. Artificial chanting and dancing may be due to sentiments or sentimental agitation, but this cannot help one advance in Krishna consciousness. Text 103. Tandra kripa nahe yare pandita nahe kene deghile suni leha tandre ispara namare. Translation. If the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not bestowed upon a person, regardless of how learned a scholar that person may be, and regardless of seeing or listening, he cannot accept the Lord as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. The same principles can be applied to demoniac persons, even though they be in the sampradaya of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Without receiving the Lord's special power, one cannot preach his glories all over the world. Even though one may celebrate himself as a learned follower of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and even though one may attempt to preach the holy name of the Lord all over the world, if he is not favored by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he will find fault with the pure devotee and will not be able to understand how a preacher is empowered by Lord Chaitanya. One must be considered bereft of the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he criticizes the Krishna consciousness movement now spreading all over the world, or finds fault with this movement or the leader of the movement. Text 104. Atapi te deva param bhuja dvaya prasada lesanu gruhita evahi janati tatvam bhagavan mahimno nachanya ekopi chiram vichivan. Translation. My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. Purport. This verse is a quotation from the Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.29. It is explained in the Madhya Lila in the 6th chapter, text 84. Text 105. Raje kahe sabe jaga nata na dekhiya Chaitanya ravasa grhe chalila dhana. Translation. The king said, instead of visiting the temple of Lord Jagannath, all the devotees are running toward the residence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 106. Bata kahe ehitata svabhavika premarita Mahaprabhu me libare uttakandita chita. Translation. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya replied, this is spontaneous love. All the devotees are very anxious to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 107. Age tanre mili sabe tanre sange lana tanra sange jagannatha dekhi benagiya. Translation. First, the devotees will meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then take him with them to the temple to see Lord Jagannath. Text 108. Raja kahe bhavandandera putra vaninata prashada lana sange chale pancha sata. Translation. The king said, the son of Bhavananda Roy, named Vaninatha, along with 5 or 7 other men, is going there to take the remnants of Lord Jagannath's food. Text 109. Mahaprabhura alaye karila gamana eta mahaprasada kahaki karana eta mahaprasada chahi kahaki karana. Translation. Indeed, Vaninath has already gone to the residence of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and has taken a huge quantity of Mahaprasad. Please let me know the reason for this. Text 110. Atakahe bhakta gana ailag jani nina Prabhura igite prashada yaya tandra lana. Translation. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, understanding that all the devotees have come, Lord Chaitanya gave the sign, and therefore they have brought such great quantities of Mahaprasad. Text 111. Raja kahe upavasa kshora tirtha virhana tahana kariya kene keba anapana. Translation. The king then asked Bhattacharya, why have they not observed the regulations for visiting the pilgrimage place, such as fasting, shaving, and so on? Why have they first eaten prasad? Text 112. Bhata kahe tumi yehi kahase vidhi dharma ehi raga marge eche sukshma dharma marma. Translation. Bhattacharya told the king, what you have said is right according to the regulative principles governing the visiting of holy places, but there is another path, which is the path of spontaneous love. According to those principles, there are subtle intricacies involved in the execution of religious principles. Purport. According to the Vedic regulative principles, one has to be celibate before entering a holy place of pilgrimage. Generally, people are very much addicted to sense gratification, and unless they have sex at night, they cannot sleep. The regulative principles therefore enjoin that before a common man goes to a holy place of pilgrimage, he should observe complete celibacy. As soon as one enters a place of pilgrimage, he should observe complete celibacy. As soon as one enters a holy place, he must observe fasting for the day, and after shaving his head clean, he must take a bath in a river or ocean near the holy place. These methods are adopted to neutralize the effects of sinful activities. Visiting a holy place of pilgrimage means neutralizing the reactions of sinful life. Those who go to a holy place of pilgrimage actually unload the reactions of their sinful lives, and consequently holy places are overloaded with sinful activities left by their visitors. When a saintly person or pure devotee visits such a holy place, he absorbs the sinful effects left by the common man and again purifies the holy place. Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani, Bhagavatam 1.13.10. Therefore, a common man's visit to a holy place and an exalted saintly person's visit are different. The common man leaves his sins in the holy place, and the saintly person or devotee cleanses these sins simply by his presence. The devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were not common men, and they could not be subjected to the rules and regulations governing the visiting of holy places. Rather, they exhibited their spontaneous love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Immediately upon their arrival at the holy place, they went to see Lord Chaitanya, and by his order they took Mahaprasad without following the regulations governing holy places. Text 113. Isvarira paroksha agya shura uposhana tabura sakshat agya prashada bhojana. Translation. The scriptural injunctions for shaving and fasting are indirect orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, when there is a direct order from the Lord to take prasad, naturally the devotees take prasad as their first duty. Text 114. Tahan upavasayahan nahi mahaprasad prabhuvagya prasad tyage haya aparadha. Translation. When Mahaprasad is not available, there must be fasting. But when the Supreme Personality of Godhead orders one directly to take prasad, neglecting such an opportunity is offensive. Text 115. Vishesha Shri Haste Prabhu Kare Pari Veshana Itala Bhachari Kon Kare Uposhana. Translation. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is distributing prasad with his transcendental hand, who will neglect such an opportunity and accept the regulative principles of fasting? Text 116. Varve Prabhu More Prasad Ana Ani Dila Pratesaya Vashiyami Sayana Kaila. Translation. Previously, the Lord gave me Mahaprasad rice one morning, and I ate that just sitting on my bed without having even washed my mouth. Text 117. Yanre Kripa Kari Karina Hridayi Prerana Krishna Raya Hayachare Veda Loka Dharma. Translation. The man to whom the Lord shows his mercy by inspiring him within the heart takes shelter only of Lord Krishna and abandons all Vedic and social customs. Purport. This is also the teaching of Bhagavad-Gita. Sarva dharmam parityaga mamikam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshasyami ma sucha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Bhagavad-Gita 18.66. Such firm faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead is possible only by the mercy of the Lord. The Lord is sitting within everyone's heart, and when he personally inspires his devotee, the devotee does not stick to the Vedic principles or social customs, but rather devotes himself to the transcendental loving service of the Lord. This is confirmed in the following verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 4.29.47. Text 118. Yadayam anugradhati Yadyam anugradhanati Bhagavan Atma Bhavita Sajati Matim Loke Terecha Parinishtitam. Translation. When one is inspired by the Lord who is sitting in everyone's heart, he does not care for social custom or Vedic regulative principles. Purport. This instruction was given by Narada Goswami to King Prachina Bhari in connection with the story of Puranjana. Without the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot extricate himself from the fruit of activities that are under the jurisdiction of the Vedas. Even personalities like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Manu, the Prajapatis, headed by Daksha, the Purakramas, Marichi, and even Narada himself, could not properly receive the causeless mercy of the Lord. Text 119. Tabe Raja Atalika Hoite Tale Taila Kasi Misra Paricha Patra Dunhe Ana Aila. Translation. After this, King Praptaparudra came down from the top of his palace to the ground and called for Kasi Mishra and the inspector in the temple. Texts 120 through 121. Prataparudra Agyadila Sehidu Vijane Prabhustane Asiyachena Yata Prabhuragane Sabhare Swachandavasa Swachanda Prashada Swachanda Darashana Karai Naheyena Bhara. Translation. Maharaj Praptaparudra then told both Kasi Mishra and the temple inspector, provide all the devotees and associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with comfortable residences, convenient eating facilities for prasad, and convenient visiting arrangements at the temple so that there will not be any difficulty. Text 122. Prabhu Agya Paliha Dunhe Savadhana Hana Ajana He Tabu Kariha Ingita Bhujiya. Translation. The orders of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must be carefully carried out. Although the Lord may not give direct orders, you are still to carry out his desires simply by understanding his indications. Text 123. Itabali Vidaya Dila Seidu Vijane Avamboma Dekite Aila Vaishnava Milane. Translation. Saying this, the king gave permission to them to leave. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya also went to the assembly of all the Vaishnavas. Text 124. Bhupinata Charya Bhattacharya Sarvabhauma Dure Rahi Dekhe Prabhura Vaishnava Milana. Translation. From a distant place, both Gopinathacharya and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya watched the meeting of all the Vaishnavas with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 125. Simhadvara Dahine Chari Sava Vaishnava Gana Kasimistra Virhapate Karila Gamana. Translation. Beginning from the right side of the Lion Gate, or the main gate of the temple, all the Vaishnavas began to proceed toward the house of Kasi Mishra. Text 126. Enakale Mahaprabhu Nijagana Sange Vaishnave Milila Asi Pate Bahurange. Translation. In the meantime, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, accompanied by his personal associates, met all the Vaishnavas on the road with great jubilation. Text 127. Advaita Katila Prabhura Charana Vandana Acharyera Kaila Prabhu Prema Alingana. Translation. First, Advaita Acharya offered prayers to the lotus feet of the Lord, and then the Lord immediately embraced him in ecstatic love. Text 128. Premananda Hailadunhe Parama Astira Samaya Dekhiya Prabhu Hailaki Chudira. Translation. Indeed, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Advaita Acharya displayed agitation due to ecstatic love. Seeing the time and circumstance, however, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained patient. Text 129. Srivasari Karila Prabhu Charana Vandana Prateke Karila Prabhu Prema Alingana. Translation. After this, all the devotees headed by Srivas Thakur offered prayers to the lotus feet of the Lord, and the Lord embraced each and every one of them in great love and ecstasy. Text 130. Eke eke sarva bhakti kaila sambhasana sabhalana abhyantare karila gamana. Translation. The Lord addressed all the devotees one after another and took all of them with him into the house. Text 131. Nishrera abasase haya apastana asankhya vaishnavataha haila parimana. Translation. Since the residence of Kasi Mishra was insufficient, all the assembled devotees were very overcrowded. Text 132. Apana nikate prabhu sabhava saila apani shri haste sabare maya gandha dila. Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made all the devotees sit at his side, and with his own hand he offered them garlands and sandalwood pulp. Text 133. Vatacharya acharya tabe mahaprabhurastane yatayogya lila sabakara sane. Translation. After this, Gopinath Acharya and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya met all the Vaishnavas at the place of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a befitting manner. Text 134. Advaitera kahena prabhu madhura vachane ajiyami purnaha ilana tomara agamane. Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu addressed Advaita Acharya Prabhu, saying sweetly, "My dear sir, today I have become perfect because of your arrival." Texts 135 through 136. Advaita kahi isparera eispa bhavaya yadyapi yapane purna sarvaisvaryamaya tatapi bhakta sange haya sukho lasa bhakta sange kare nitya nibhera vilasa. Translation. Advaita Acharya Prabhu replied, "This is a natural characteristic of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although he is personally complete and full of all opulences, he takes transcendental pleasure in the association of his devotees, with whom he has a variety of eternal pastimes." Text 137. Vasudeva Deki Prabhu Anandita Hana Tamre Kichu Tanra Ange Hasta Diya. Translation. As soon as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw Vasudeva Datta, the father of Mukunda Datta, he immediately became very happy, and placing his hand on his body began to speak. Text 138. Yadyapi Mukunda ama sange shishu hoite anha hoite adhika shuka tomare dekite. Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Although Mukunda is my dear friend from childhood, I nonetheless take great pleasure in seeing you than in seeing him." Purport. Vasudeva Datta was the father of Mukunda Datta, who was the childhood friend of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is naturally a great pleasure to see a friend, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informed the father that although it was his pleasure to see his friend, his pleasure was increased by seeing the father. Text 139. Vasukahe Mukunda Adu Paila Tomara Sanga Tomara Charana Paila Sei Punarjanma. Translation. Vasudeva replied, "Mukunda got your association in the beginning. As such, he has taken shelter at your lotus feet. That is his transcendental rebirth." Text 140. Chotahana Mukunda Eva Haila Amara Jesta Tomara Kripa Patra Tate Sarva Gunes Dresta. Translation. Thus Vasudeva Datta admitted his inferiority to Mukunda, his son. "Although Mukunda is my junior," he said, "he first received your favor. Consequently, he became transcendently senior to me. Besides that, you very much favored Mukunda. Thus he is superior in all good qualities." Text 141. Puna Prabhu kahe ami tumara nimite, Nui pushtaka anyechai dakshina hayite. Translation. The Lord said, for your sake only, I have brought 2 books from South India. Text 142. Swarupera taniyache lahata vikya vasudeva anandita pushtaka pana. Translation. The books are kept with Swarup Damodar, and you can get them copied. Hearing this, Vasudeva became very glad. Text 143. Pratyeka Vaishnava Sabe Lekhiya Lahila Ramakame Dui Granata Sarvatra Vaipila. Translation. Indeed, each and every Vaishnava copied the 2 books. By and by, the 2 books, Brahma Samhita and Sri Krishna Charitamrta, were broadcast all over India. Text 144. Srivasa diye kahe Prabhu kari mahaprita tomara chari bharira amiha inu vikrita. Translation. The Lord addressed Srivas and his brothers with great love and affection, saying, I am so obliged that I am purchased by you for brothers. Text 145. Srivasa kahena kene kaha viparita Ripamulaye charibai hai tomara krita. Translation. Srivas then replied to the Lord, why are you speaking in a contradictory way? Rather, we 4 brothers have been purchased by your mercy. Text 146. Sankare dekhiya Prabhu kahe damodare Sagurava prati amara tomara upare. Translation. After seeing Shankara, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Damodar, my affection for you is on the platform of affection with awe and reverence. Purport. Here the Lord is addressing Damodar Pandit, who is different from Swarup Damodar. Damodar Pandit is the elder brother of Shankara. Thus the Lord informed Damodar that his affection toward him was on the platform of awe and reverence. However, the Lord's affection toward his younger brother, Shankara, was on the platform of pure love. Text 147. Shudha keva la prema Shankara upare Ateva tomara sange rakaha shankare. Translation. Therefore keep your younger brother Shankara with you, because he is connected to me by pure unalloyed love. Text 148. Damodara kahe Shankara chota amahoite eba amara badabai tomara kripate. Translation. Damodar Pandit replied, Shankar is my younger brother, but from today he becomes my elder brother because of your special mercy upon him. Text 149. Shivanande kahe Prabhu tomara amate gadha anuragahaya jani agai harte. Translation. Then turning toward Shivananda Sena, the Lord said, I know that from the very beginning your affection for me has been very great. Text 150. Suni Shivananda Sena Prema Vishtahana Dandavatana Prade Shloka Padiya. Translation. Immediately upon hearing this, Shivananda Sena became absorbed in ecstatic love and fell down on the ground, offering obeisances to the Lord. He then began to recite the following verse. Text 151. Nimajato nanta pavarnavantas chiraya me kulam ishpasi labda vayapi labdam bhagavan idanim anutamam patram idam tayaha. Translation. O my Lord, O Unlimited One, although I was merged in the ocean of nescience, I have now, after a long time, attained you, just as one may attain the seashore. My dear Lord, by getting me, you have obtained the right person upon whom to bestow your causeless mercy. Purport. This is a verse composed by Alabandharu Yamunacharya. One's relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead may be re-established even after one has fallen into the ocean of nescience, which is the ocean of material existence, involving the repetition of birth, death, old age, and disease, all arising out of the acceptance of the material body. There are 8,400,000 species of material life, but in the human body, one attains the chance to get release from the repetition of birth and death. When one becomes the Lord's devotee, he is rescued from this dangerous ocean of birth and death. The Lord is always prepared to show his mercy upon fallen souls struggling against miserable material conditions. As stated in Bhagavad-Gita, Mama ivamso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana mana sastanin priyani prakruti stani karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to the conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. Bhagavad-Gita 15.7. Thus, every living being is struggling hard in this material nature. Actually, the living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and when he surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he attains release from the ocean of birth and death. The Lord, being very kind to fallen souls, is always anxious to get the living entity out of the ocean of nescience. If the living entity understands his position and surrenders to the Lord, his life becomes successful. Text 152. Pratame Murari Gupta Prabhure Nameliya Vahirete Pariyache Dandavatana. Translation. Murari Gupta at first did not meet the Lord, but rather remained outside the door, falling down like a stick to offer obeisances. Text 153. Murari na dekhiya Prabhu kare anesvana Murari laite dana aila bahujana. Translation. When Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could not see Murari amongst the devotees, he inquired about him. Thereupon many people immediately went to Murari, running to take him to the Lord. Text 154. Tranadui Gucha Murari Dashane Dariya Mahaprabhu Agegela Nanyadhi Nahana. Translation. Thus Murari Gupta, catching two bunches of straw in his teeth, went before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with humility and meekness. Text 155. Murari dekhiya Prabhu aite milite pache bage Murari nigila kahite. Translation. Upon seeing Murari come to meet him, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went up to him, but Murari began to run away and speak as follows. Text 156. Morena chunina Prabhu munita pamara Tumara sparsha yogya nahe papa kalivara. Translation. My Lord, please do not touch me. I am most abominable and am not fit for you to touch because my body is sinful. Text 157. Prabhu kahe murari kara danya sambarana Tumara daine deki mura vrindanya hayamana. Translation. The Lord said, My dear Murari, please restrain your unnecessary humility. My mind is disturbed to see your meekness. Text 158. Etabali Prabhu Tandre Kaila Alingana Nikate Vaishna Karyanga Saman Samarjana. Translation. Saying this, the Lord embraced Murari and had him sit down by his side. The Lord then began to cleanse his body with his own hands. Text 159. Thus ends our reading for today. All glories to Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Srila Vishnupad, Srila Bhakti Nishkama Maharaj. Dandava Maharaj. Hare Krishna.